You can't really use the bubble buster. Don't worry guys, I'll be here in a minute.
So just on the new grass.
Yeah. Just out here snowing. Got Calvin here looking at me funny. Stop looking at me. Diesel heater number 3. If you ever painted with the all grip, it is gnarly. Good morning guys. Just got to the boat, fired up the heaters, turned the lights on, and let's see how things are looking. So there you go. You can actually see my lines from when I dry fit everything. And you can see some of the issues that we got to deal with. Like right here. You can see. So those are, I guess, the rookie mistakes that you make when you're not a professional at this. And I'm sure anybody that's out there that tries this these are examples of things you will run into. Which I should have just cut that off an extra inch longer to be able to kind of wrap it around. But it is what it is. Those are the scenarios where you live and learn from my mistakes too. From watching this, if you're doing a similar project, you go, hey, that Canadian guy named Brandon, he screwed up like this. I'm not gonna do the same mistake. And that will be a smart decision. But I am overall pretty darn happy. There is a couple, very little air void right there. There's another one. But overall, it turned out pretty good. Laid out nice and flat. Do got this funky thing I gotta deal with. So before I left, I just kind of wrapped the glass around. It obviously didn't stay and flop down. So I'm gonna grind that all out, cut it out with the oscillating tool, sand it out, same with that. And I was going to lay another layer of chop strand over this to use it as like the sacrificial layer to smoothen it out. But the more I thought about it all night, I actually don't think I'm going to bother. I think I'm just going to gel coat it. So this is still unwaxed. It's actually kind of have a little bit of a tack to it. I think I'm just going to use the waxed gel coat, put it on decently thick, nothing crazy, and I'm actually gonna, for the most part, sand that smooth. Use the bigger sander, use one of these guys, which I just have a cheap one from Princess Auto for me, and if you're American, you guys have like Harbor Freight, which I love as well. Everybody watching in Australia, what do you guys have? I'm curious. So, little things to deal with. Cut this out. My overhang that I left overhang, I'm going to trim out. Trim this all off here. Sand up to make a smooth transition there. I did a little touch-up area here to build it up nice and strong. So that is all built up. I'm going to sand that smooth, because everything is going to be all gripped. So with epoxy paint, so not, the gel coat is more to seal it. I don't even honestly know why. I guess a little overkill, since it'll be gel coat, kind of sanded smooth, and then sealed with all grip, epoxy primer, and then urethane paint on top of that to give it a shine and hopefully a tough, strong finish. I'm only going to be doing probably like right here. Everything in that corner gets covered. There's got to be a stand I have to build here to hold my exhaust tubing. You'll see this, and you'll see like 1 inch. Prime example. And a lot of things have been removed in that corner. Have to cut out my weep hole. I think I'm gonna get things cut out, sanded down. I'm gonna mix up some spicy resin to do these corners, to get those done and over with, probably within the next hour. Then run back to the shop, grab my pail of gel coat, and start mixing some wax in it. And I most likely will just bring you guys along once I get to that point. guys, like we said, time to fix up the corners. So using the chop strand, when it gets nice and saturated, you can really manipulate it to take shape of corners and stuff like that and be able to brush out air pockets. We're really not trying to go for a ton of strength. It's easy to just use a couple layers of this to seal it all up, and then you can sand it out and make it look good. Like I said, a couple layers of this though will seal it up, and this stuff, when it's saturated, it forms to corners very, very easy compared to 1708. Still takes a good amount of resin and a lot of working it in. Actually, to be honest, I wish I had thinner, some not so heavy of chop strand. It would work even better. But we're gonna sit here and work it, get it saturated in resin, and we'll get it to form the corner nicely. This is what I found to work the best for these scenarios. For the professionals out there, if you're seeing this, please tell me what you guys would do, because if there's easier ways for it, I'm all ears. Obviously still needs a little fine tuning, but you guys can see how I just took a square and rounded it right around. That's 2 layers. I was able to pretty nicely get all the air bubbles out and round it around that corner. Round it around. A lot of dabbing motions, working it back and forth, because for scenarios like this, you can't really use the bubble buster. So doing dabbing motions like this and just working it back and forth, you can eventually see that you'll get all the air out of it. And we're just doing a couple spots here where it was difficult to round it with all the wires here. It's a lot of stuff that I didn't want to disconnect just to run the glass. A lot of the wires still have to be deleted and traced out, but that will be in a way later process. This is just to help seal the corners up nice. Actually, that one will probably work a little better. Get a couple of these getting saturated for the corners over there. So guys, I did mix this on the spicy side. I'm trying to get it to harden up quick today because I would like to get some gel coat on it. I'm trying to work extremely fast. This is that area you guys seen. Unfortunately, screwed up a bit yesterday and we didn't have quite enough length, so today I'm just building it up. As you guys seen, I had the issues here, so while we're fixing up those little tabs and things like that, I got the little pieces here that you can sit here and work in and build up the corner that had a lot of little air voids that, again, is just hard to do because they're corners. So I'm going to build it up quite a bit. So when I sand it smooth again too, I still have a lot of strength, but no more air void.
And all this is done. I'm on a mission, I'm paying dues.
Don't worry guys, I'll be here a minute. Going for approximately 2 quarts. There you guys go. That's how you guys measure things in America. Oh, 2 quart, a little over 2 quarts. 2 liters for me. One day I'll get there. No, 2 quarts and 2 liters is pretty similar. Adding our wax solution. This way everything can harden, or I guess fully cure would be the better way to put that. Give it a mix, and we're going to let it sit for a couple of minutes before adding our MEKP. It's like methyl, I don't remember.
Methyl ethyl ketone.
Ketone peroxide or something. I don't know what it's actually called. I forget right now. Normally I actually do know too. My stuntman Will made an appearance.
Hey, Stuntman Will is here. What are we mixing?
Gel coat.
Nice.
Gel coat and wax right now. You're not here to be clean?
Nope.
Shouldn't be gross or anything. Just sand, there should be a sander down there, a plug-in one. Just sand the spot where the roller goes so I can actually roll it in. Should be a plug-in one. To the left. Or, oh, right here.
Yeah.
Try to sand that in. So we're gonna mix this up, guys, and then like I said, we're gonna give it a couple of minutes to react with the gel coat, the wax. It's always good to give it a couple of minutes. I've heard some people just mix it and toss it in. I've always had way better luck mixing it and letting it sit. So we got our gel coat, we got our wax in it, we got our hardener or our MEKP, and pretty simple process. We're just slathering it on. It's a pretty thick gel coat. Didn't thin it because I am rolling it on. This will no longer have a stick to it anymore.
So just on the new grass.
Yeah. Just doesn't fancy slather it on.
Guys, good teamwork. Good teamwork.
Teamwork.
We killed it.
All right, guys, that layer of gel coat went down pretty good and looking very white, but we also got this that's currently happening outside. I figured I'd show you. Yep, just out here snowing. So it's out there snowing, and I got all 3 diesel heaters running right now. No electric heat. And come down in the engine room and check her out. Whew. She's looking good. Everything is actually already dry. But what is impressive is got the heat gun here. Those are the kind of temperatures, even the hull. So that is right under that. There's your water. Obviously, there's your seacocks. And you can see the kind of temps that we're able to get. Did have the engine room door closed, and I have the one heater blowing in right here to help heat this area, and then obviously the one in the corner. Like where it's actually blowing in, it's even way more impressive. Like it's almost warm to the touch. Like, but there is for sure some lumps and bumps and random things in there, because we weren't going for some crazy flat finish. This is actually going to get sanded out pretty decently and still epoxy primered and painted, but I wanted something to seal this up pretty good for the most part and allow that unwaxed resin to harden fully. And you can see we have achieved that. Figured I'd give you a quick little update before I go home for the night. So that's where we're at. I'll see you guys in the morning. So now getting to the point, trying to get some things painted. I got Calvin here looking at me funny. Stop looking at me. Got the gel coat all done. Still have to be sanded, things like that, but I'm starting to get this corner kind of prepped for the epoxy paint. So all the cable tray has to come down, and actually that's one thing. If any of you viewers know where to source some of this stuff, it has been extremely difficult in Canada. It's the one downside about being Canadians. Certain things, difficult to source. But if anybody knows where to source this, let me know in the comments, because that would be great. But all this stuff is very brittle. It's been in here for 30 years. I even had some of my friends here go, "Why are you trying to replace it?" And I did this. And this is why we're replacing it. Because the stuff is so brittle that when you try to use it, put the covers on, they just break apart. With doing all of this work and making everything look fresh and new, this is something that I got to deal with as well. And I'm also changing up how much of it I have. Certain things we're going to just eliminate the tray altogether. Like the fuel lines and steering lines were covered by the tray. Some of that stuff I actually don't mind having exposed and being able to see. For a couple different reasons. I don't mind being able to see if they're ever leaking, things like that. Pretty easy to source. And I don't mind the look of the fuel lines in the engine room once they're cleaned up or replaced. Different things like that. Just getting things prepped and having this corner ready so I can move that generator over here. So that'll be a big milestone to be able to start working on that side. Finish, the factory finish. Alrighty, So, for a little today's update, haven't really taken you along for the last little bit because it's been the same thing over and over again, which I have a lot to do. Sanding, sanding, and more sanding. So, at the end of the day, I can only show you guys so much until you guys are sitting there falling asleep on the couch going, this guy's sanding the same thing over and over, right? So, that's what I've been doing for at least a week. Unfortunately, I'm back very busy at work, so that also takes a toll at getting things done. My winter season, which is my like off season per se, is no longer a thing, and it's back to full-time working and trying to build this one day beautiful 58-foot Viking. So, with that said, take a look, guys. So I have all of the cable tray or cable duct all taken off of this area. We have this whole wall sanded down, and I just started taking this off. You can see where the old cable duct was. I got to take that electrical panel, or I guess it would be more of a breaker box slash shutoffs. I'm going to take it down. I'm going to tie it up to this grab handle here. And almost everything is sanded down and pretty much faired out to look as good as it could be. I'm not going for a 100% smooth texture finish like you see on the outside of a boat, but I do want a pretty nice shiny finish. Unfortunately, the sides, which I'll show you, the hull sides, have a very just raw texture fiberglass. I don't know how well you guys can see that. So in order for me to try to smooth that out, man, I'll need another year of building this thing. So we're going to go back to the factory look for these outside walls for the most part. But everything else that I can make a little prettier, I will. For instance, the generator bedding, or like this floor slash shelf area where everything gets mounted to. This, I don't know how well you guys will see that, but it is now a perfect smooth finish compared to this, which was what the factory had. Just very lumpy, kind of just, again, just a raw fiberglass look, which in the engine room doesn't really matter, right? But I'm kind of doing this once and that's it. Do not want to come back in here and be like, wow, I really wish I would have sanded that one little area to make it look a little cleaner. So some things will still be left as pretty raw glass or tabbed in, but a lot of the areas that you really see, like when you walk right down in here, and this just being a nice round corner compared to the raw, bumpy and lumpy fiberglass. Same with all the stringers. It's kind of hard to take you along with that. I'm going to give you an update for what's going on now, and I'm hoping in the next couple days, my plan is actually to spray all of these walls, that wall, and a part of this here. I'm leaving this bulkhead still exposed just because I want to glass that as one continuous piece. I'm starting to think maybe just saying screw it and doing just this half right now and trying to have it tabbing in the corner or in the middle, somewhere in the middle where I can overlap and then smooth it out. Not too sure what my plan is there yet. No professional, just a guy wanting to build a cool boat. So the reason, I'm going to probably be painting this boat in like 4 separate stages. So I'm going to do this like half, the whole floor area as one, probably up here as one, and then this as one. I want to get this all done so I can move this generator, which is staying in the boat. I'm going to slide it over, and what used to be my starboard generator will now just forever be my port generator. And then I can cut up all of this flooring that had some moisture in it or anything that needs to be done. I can do all of that fiberglass work and paint it at once. I wish I could kind of just tear everything out of here and paint it all at once, but I've already teared a lot of things out of here and it's a little overwhelming. And in my mind, it just kind of makes sense. Do a chunk, get it completed, move things over, block it off, move to the next side. All right, the next exciting thing I start to do, I'll bring you guys along. Alright guys, today is an exciting day. Been waiting for this for a while. I'll show you what I got going on. Currently, one diesel heater rigged up, blowing air in. Second diesel heater outside, forcing fresh air in. It's going to be kind of loud down here. I have lots of exhaust fans going. Diesel heater number 3. Exhaust fan, some exhaust fan. Everything is taped off and ready for some paint. So except for this bulkhead, which I'm trying to tie in as one piece, but pretty much everything here is ready for paint. I am going to probably leave this section out, as I decided I want to ferret out a little bit more. So we'll see how that goes. I might change my mind midway through. I just finished mixing the epoxy all grip, so that's why I got all the fans going. I got a full face mask to wear because the all grip, she's pretty gnarly. So that's why I got forced air in, a lot of it, and a lot of forced air out to keep a flow of fresh air, plus having my respirator on. So I'm excited to finally have something not look like bare fiberglass anymore, and I have a nice white coat of paint. Waiting for that chemical reaction to kind of kick off. Once you mix the epoxy, you have to wait about 15 minutes, so that's currently what I'm doing, and I figured I'll let you know what is going on.
Days when the rains came down in the hollow, playing a new game, laughing and a running, hey hey, skipping and a jumping in the misty morning fog with our hearts a thumping, and you, my brown-eyed girl, and you, my brown-eyed girl. And whatever happened to Tuesday and so slow, going down the old man with a transistor radio, standing in the sunlight laughing, hiding behind a rainbow's wall, slipping and sliding all along the waterfall with you, my brown-eyed girl.
Alrighty everyone, I used my shrink wrap zipper so much that I actually wore out the metal part on the zipper with lubricating it throughout the whole winter and just going in and out of it 10, 20, 30 times a day sometimes. I had to come up with this. How hilarious is that? It's an old door frame that I just had kicking around with a door, and latch barely even latches anymore, but honestly, with this kind of a project, I wish I would have done that a long time ago. But let's get into the engine room here. Show you what's going on. Got the engine bed all painted. This is all just with the epoxy primer. So I got one quick thin coat there, and this whole back wall and this whole area is all done in primer. It is looking really good. Very happy with how it's turning out. As you've seen, I ended up just brushing it on just to kind of save trying to clean out the spray gun and stuff like that with the epoxy every time. I'm sure there's a better way, but for some reason I have a hard time trying to clean out the spray gun and have it work again the second time. So I opted just to roll it. With thinning it out, it actually worked really well. Have some spots right here where I'm going to sand off and sand it down before I do the top coat. Just today I upgraded the exhaust ventilation, so that's pretty cool. Got one of these bad boys, 12-inch, which just now goes, well, you'll be able to see that. You can kind of see that, just straight out the back of the boat. 12-inch, right out the back. So that actually works really good. So good, as a matter of fact, that's actually a friend of mine that came by and was like, hey, I got a fan that would work perfect. Let me borrow it, and it works so perfect. I ordered one for this side. So when I start doing a lot more grinding and the fumes of the paint, just, man, you need the exhaust fans going. If you ever painted with the all grip, it is gnarly, gnarly stuff. Absolutely nasty. So you guys seen the progress of getting things painted. We are starting to make some serious progress, but with that being said, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode on rebuilding this Viking. On the next episode, I'm gonna dig in deeper on exactly how to redo some of these stringers and the process I did. So stay tuned for the next one, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.